and all those first loves, I think we remember. I remember mine to this day. So it's something that sits with you and can be emotional when you think about it.
Yeah.
You talk a lot about meeting Greg and how that really changed your life. And we tell everybody a little bit about Greg.
Yeah, so Greg, we went to high school together. He was a grade older than me, and we just we became best friends, completely inseparable. And yeah, I loved him so much. He was just a dream come true. And I think after losing my dad and going through hard times and meeting Greg, he felt like a breath of fresh air and somewhere I could feel safe again.
Right. You share in the book how you got pregnant when you were 17 years old with Greg, and you guys ended up deciding you guys were too young, couldn't have the child, but then that became sort of a complication in your relationship, and you broke up with him, and he goes off to the military. I bring all this up because I think it's so poignant that, you have different men in your life, and he unfortunately dies when he's away. And um, I wanted to share with you that I thought this was so powerful because it was so evident in reading your book that the man who's supposed to love you unconditionally, teach you about unconditional love, your father dies when you're so young, and then this first guy that you really fall in love with, that you feel you trust and love, is killed. And I that resonates with me. When I was 15, my father was 44, he died.
Oh,
And then I was engaged to somebody who was killed. So at the time that I was 26, I lost the two most important men in my life, and I lost myself, and I didn't think I had anything to lose. So those words that you wrote in the book were so powerful because I know that feeling, because you're just like, I don't have a good track record for men staying, and I don't know what love is. And I think that that is such a huge part of your story, and many people's stories, whether or not they realize it or not.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you go and your life now moves on to wanting to be something that other people have, and you talk about getting your boobs done, and you talk about kind of changing your appearance and wanting to be part of this sort of more glamorous life. Can you just, I know we get into it a lot in the book, but just tell everybody who hasn't really followed your story how you got even invited to a party there, and how you kind of came to be one of the women that Hugh Hefner invited to live at the mansion.
Well, I was in college studying psychology at San Diego State, and on the side, I would do little modeling gigs, like the promo girl type stuff, handing out keychains and, working at motocross as like a Monster Energy girl, just random things like that. And
Yeah.
one of the girls I met along the way, she said, or she asked me if I wanted to submit my photos to go to a party at the Playboy Mansion. And I thought, oh my gosh, like they'll never pick me, but I'll submit my photos. Um, and so I did, and I got accepted into this party, and off I went with her. She got accepted as
You
well.
think the first time you saw Hugh Hefner?
I had never seen a celebrity before in my life. And so it was this kind of magnetic energy, this you felt like the power, you felt all of that with this world and this empire that he'd built. He was like definitely the king of his castle.
Hmm. Hmm. And I think it's really evident in your writing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you really hadn't felt like you had a home up until now. You had moved so much with your family. You had gone through a couple different situations with boys, men, and this, when you finally were asked to come live with Hef, you felt like you finally found a home.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, this is somewhere I really could feel like I belong finally.
Right. But quickly you saw that things were not as they seem. Can you talk about what was that was like to be there, to be part of a group, of a harem of women, so to speak? What was it like for you being there?
At first, I was intrigued, and it was like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I'm going through this mansion, and I'm seeing like carved wood everywhere, and have had pajamas in every single color. I'm like, wow, this is how the other half live. And I just wanted to be part of that world so bad, whatever it took.
Yeah.
Because anything was better than the life I had before.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
something that you wrote in the book, you said there was limos, jets, private security, and it made it look impressive, but the logos were magnets, the plane was a loner, and security was outsourced workers with bunny pins. I found that like so interesting because
Yeah, isn't that
everything is,
weird?
yeah, it's so smoke and mirrors, and I don't think people realize that. It's funny, I ran Tao. I moved from New York to Vegas with some of the owners, and I moved there to open up Tao in 2005. I was there till 2009, and I remember Hef coming in with some of the girls and always behind a rope, and it was high security. And even then I got to meet every celebrity possible. I was hanging out in this group and making people like that. I was making their lives the best nights that they were, right? So like I was part of that. And I just remember everyone would get more excited when Hef would come and bring the girls, because that was kind of like in those days, especially, that's who everyone wanted to be. And it's so funny because now looking at it, like relationships with women and men, and I don't know that that would be as acceptable now. Like people definitely respected it, thought it was cool, it gave you credibility. um I don't know now that that would be so respected. What do you think? Do you think there would be a difference?
If that would exist now, like
Yeah, like men that are bringing harems of young women
no.
around.
No, I don't think so. I think Hef left the world just in time. Me Too happened a month after he died.
Yeah.
So I don't think it could be a possibility now.